So let's get started with the CFTC risk disclosure as I introduce a series on the Gann Ribbon System. Futures trading is not suitable for everyone, and past performance is not necessarily indicative of future results. There is risk of substantial loss in futures trading, or with any trading system or program, including my own. Careful evaluation of your personal financial situation must be done prior to deciding to trade in the futures market or any given trading system or methodology. So then it goes on to the notice section, and you can pause there. It all fits in there, and you can pause and read that a second. Okay, let's get on to the next slide here. You find me at StephenHopwoodForex.com under Manual, Gann Ribbon Systems. Manual is the section, Gann Ribbon Systems is the thread. The system's in post 1, and the videos will be in post 2. Let me show you what our site looks a little bit like. Go back out here to the main. This is very clean. We don't have any advertising. It's for traders and not for taking their money, and everything's generously done for free. And Steve, who is the administrator of the forum, he is a pianist and a piano teacher, and he started trading to supplement his income, and also he likes, he's also an excellent coder, and he likes coding EAs, and he's done hundreds, it seems like, by now. But they're free to download and to try out, and generally it's a great forum to belong to. Probably the best on the internet for Forex. You find me under Manual Systems here, and you find me under Gann Ribbon Systems. And the first post, and down here you'll find the bundles. Down here are the zip files. Second post will have the videos. Let me open up this first chart. It's a very good chart because it illustrates all the things I want to talk about with the Gann Ribbons in a nutshell, really. First of all, there was some confusion about sky, lake, and ocean. Even though the daily's down there somewhere, it's so far away, it's like a continent away, so we still consider this the ocean down here. This is the 30 minutes, so this is the primary ribbon. It's always gray, so whatever time period you're on, that gray will represent the primary ribbon. So if you're on the 30 minutes, the 30 minutes. If you're on the hour, it's the hour. And then from that point up, you go blue, green, brown, and like a dark goldenrod. So they have an order to them, and you can change the color if you want, but you got to write down the color so until you get them memorized, make sure you know what the order is. So what you have here is how the ribbons work. You have price coming down rather horizontal and then breaking down through this black area, which I call lake. Why is it called a lake? Well, because there's no ribbons in there. There's not, and ribbons cause resistance, rejection, or support, or whatever. They're not there, so it's easy to trade through a black area. So as you notice, it was easy to trade till you hit this big 4-hour down here. And then it wasn't so easy anymore to trade. And then price goes back up like this and hits this gray one. And here you can see with this crossover and this crossover, you got a little cup area here. People were wondering about the cup areas. Well, this is a cup area right here. And there's about, let's see, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, what's that, 6 hours of being in this area here of support, what turns out to be support because it can't get back down, sort of a cup of support. And then along comes enough volume here to push it on up until it gets to this blue ribbon, and then there's a lot of resistance here. So you got traders sort of squeezing price, you know. They don't want price to go up any higher, so that's about where they're going to let it find its price point right here. And then price falls back down, and then it gets a little support here, and it goes back up and gets, you know, resistance here. And I like to think of with the ribbons that the ribbons themselves are either accepting price or rejecting price. And here there's acceptance of price and the support of price. Here there's a rejection of price and or resistance of price. And then it drops down again and back and forth. So it's getting squeezed in here. And what do you have? You have a chart pattern is what you have. You know, a triangle, pennant, a continuation pattern. But you see how it's made. You see what causes this, and I don't know any other system that can show you this. So just, you know, show you how price is being squeezed between time periods. And I mean, I think you can see how accurate it is. And, you know, basically resistance and support are not straight lines like I have in here, and then they're zones. So in here you got a zone of resistance, zone of support, zone of support. So I mean, you know, they're not necessarily areas of just real rigid, but sometimes you do see that. Sometimes you'll see it really just pounds up against the line and it doesn't get past. So you can't really think of it as exactly a line, but sometimes it will behave that way on these ribbons. So anyway, this is not going to be present down here in the new system. We are going to continue to have volume. I like to draw lines on volume. As you see this lake, the volume was increasing here. And as you see, it got to the bottom of resistance. You had these exhaustion, big white exhaustion bars, you know, in between a red bar. What's interesting about the red bar, it was actually a red bar coming down, you know, so there was a push up, but in the end it was overwhelmed by this other bar coming down. So it's just but it exhausts itself there, and it goes down here. We have a little turn off of volume there, and there we are again. It's the afternoon of the U.S. session, and you get a little bit more here, but generally you don't get a lot of pushing during that section. And then we get the start of the Asian session. It doesn't start off real hot, but price is drifting up, and at some point here we get into the gray area here, gray period, and you get some more of these bars, exhaustion bars, and it just sort of like price exhausts itself. But I can't fall out of there. There's support for this price area here on the volume, and then some more red bars, and the white bar, red bar. Now what you'll see a lot of times on an uptrend is you see red bars, and then when you have an area of, like right here, it's sort of a retrace, right? So you have a white bar and a retrace. That means the retrace is finished, sort of exhausted itself, and now we're going to have a red bar to go back up again. So in uptrends, you're going to see these. You're going to see the push of the red bars, but in the retraces, you're going to see the white bars, and so the red bars, white bars. Generally, you're not going to see too many yellow bars except at the top, or in lulls in trading, like over here, you know, in lulls in the afternoons, over the weekend, whatever, you know. So volume is not that hard to read. This Barry Taylor indicator is fantastic, actually. And in my docs and stuff, there's information where to go to his site and look at all his videos and learn how to interpret the volume. And it's just a remarkable thing to watch it do what it does, especially with news reports, how it builds up, and it'll give you a clue to what, like UK reports especially, it'll tell you where it's going. You know there must be inside not knowledge, because you'll have all these bars, like you might have a bunch of white bars to begin with, you know, and you'll know what's happening, you know. It just it's interesting to watch the volume, how it works. So that's enough for this. I think I explained the sky and the lake, ocean below, whatever. So if you're in the sky, all the ribbons are below. If you're in the ocean, all the ribbons are above, except the daily here is below. But it's so far away, it really doesn't count. It's still going to be the ocean. So that's that. So let's go over to a chart. And this is the actual system that I'm working with right now. This is EuroCAD, and there's a lot of chop going on. I like these HA bars. I can't ever pronounce the name. I just call them HA bar, because they do these little things with. See how they get a nice little, just choppy bottoms on them. The pin bottles, pin tops, and this lets you know where the bottoms are very nicely. These pins, you get pins everywhere. And then here you got this consolidation. Like I just like them, but you can put the other template. I have both templates. I have candles too, so you can switch to candles if you want. I do, because I read candles, I know what candles mean, and so you might see a candle here and wonder, want to know what that means or something. So, but I think the HA bars are a little simpler to use, really. Now this is Bob's new 10.7 indicator down here, and it'll be working with time periods of 4 hours and down, basically. And I'm using right now three of these indicators. One for the 1 hour and the 4 hour. One for the 15-minute and 30-minute, which are true inter day time periods. And then there's one for the 5. I really don't have adjusted real well yet. Sort of a scalping area there, and I don't like trading in 5 minutes much, but maybe somebody does, and maybe we look at that a little bit. But I make my averages pretty long, and you're just going to get an idea of just how long they are. Pretty complicated. A lot of defaults on these indicators. We go down here, my K period is 18. We don't use a D period, so it's just left at 2. And the slowing is at 4. Now Bob has 7 here, 2 here, and 2 here. So I'm quite a bit different than Bob, but he's not looking at these lower time periods like I am. I don't think he's still looking at the higher time periods. What happens if you get down to the 30 and the 15 minutes, you got so much chop and so much noise that if you run these very high, like 7/2, 5/2, people do that all the time, and I don't know why, because you're just introducing all kinds of noise into your indicator because you got it all up here. The only way, the way to get rid of noise is to go up to higher time periods where the candles absorb the noise, mop up the noise, or mop up the noise in your indicator. And a guy that trades and wrote a book on trading once, he sort of talked about how indicators, make these things longer because it's sort of ridiculous. A lot of these indicators, these periods that they were designed for, they were designed for the daily, which is fine. It's a really big time period. So if you're going to use 5/2 or 7/2, that works fine for the daily. And just like Bob's this indicator, when he gets on the higher time frames, he can use really fast times up on the daily or the weekly that draws these lines in and stuff. So it's one of those things I do to try to do lessen all the noise, and you see it does a pretty good job of it, really. There's a slow buildup of volume here, and you can see here you got sort of a white bar down, but you had a red bar here. So, but the alarm would be going off right here. The alarm would be going off up right here, and you would have a nice trade starting about in here. So I don't know where I always have to draw these troughs here because I don't like putting so down here. So you would have the red bar come in, and that would give you some push up on volume. Then the next bar is a green bar too. I mean, the red goes with the green bar, and so does the white one go with the green bar. But the result of it is that it's still a fairly big bar. And I guess what it's saying is it's basically over. The down moves over, you know, that it's moving up. And sometimes you can't always be sure what the volume's telling you, but a lot of times it's really, really just outright. Like right here, where you get into these two big white bars. I mean, things have definitely turned here, you know, because that really signals the end of the you know, the uptrend here. Now price is coming down, and then you get some more of this choppy garbage we're having lately. With just about every pair, it seems like, even pairs that don't normally look choppy right now. And then, if this is a 15 minutes, if you look here, always when you see your volume is dropping off and stuff. This is U.S. afternoon. It's not trading. I mean, London's done, and U.S. traders, they come in early so they can trade with the London traders and trade into noon. And a lot of times they take the rest of the day off. See, and that's stupid. They're going to trade the high volume areas with the resters. So they usually will hit a little earlier. The American traders come in and try to get a good bit of the London session. So, you know, it really drops off in the afternoon, and even when Sydney opens up, a lot of times there's not a whole lot going on, unless some major news is going to be released, and it starts to pick up. And you can tell there wasn't really a whole lot in the Asian session this particular day. This is EuroCAD, and it can be quite volatile. It has a daily range of 80 right now. I lose only 23 today, so anyway, I just wanted to show you what the system looked like. Going up a little bit, you can see this nice little trend here back if you look back. So I have to really work on the indicator here to try to get it cooperating, doing what I want it to do. But I think it's going to be a nice system when it comes out. The thing about it is, every time there's a signal, you don't necessarily want to take it. Right here, there's like no volume at all. You know, it's like, would you take that? I wouldn't take that. There's no volume, even though it's a tradable area. And, you know, even by the rules, you'll probably get a signal right there that says "trade me" or whatever, or "you're stupid" or something like that. I think that's what it's saying lately. But then it comes over. Still, there's not a whole lot there. And even when volume picks up, you can have a lot of volume, but it's not going nowhere. And that's simply because you know, people are, you know, indecisive. They don't know whether they want to go up or they want to go down, but there's a lot of activity going on, you know. So then there's tail off in volume here. So sometimes volume tells you a lot. Sometimes with price it tells you a lot, and sometimes it tells you what price is not doing. It's not going anywhere. Even though it has a lot of volume, it's not going anywhere. So that's just a beginning of trying to understand how this all works together. I'm doing a little better tonight if I didn't have a sore throat, and I'm a little under the weather, but just wanted to get started with this and show you a little bit that maybe we're confused on. Over here's Bob's indicator that tells us whether we're bearish. Over here's the day candle, tell us whether we're going on a counter trend day or trend day. Just a nice convenience. Are we counter trend or are we trend? It's easy to compare that to Bob's stuff, and it's a nice little indicator. Down here's my indicator, but it's included in the package. It always gives you the daily average, high to low. I always find that interesting. Tells you what the spread is and stuff like that. So I'm going to let that be the first video, and I'll probably get into more. What I want to do is just talk about volume in another video. Just talk about Bob's indicator in the video. Maybe get more into support and resistance again. Anything you want me to talk about, you can put in the thread. Be glad to do it. Things you don't understand. But there are some other things I want to talk about: the ribbons, the triangles, and stuff like that. We talked about the cups today and the domes and whatever. But the ribbons are going to form certain things based on their crosses. It's just going to happen time and time again. And sometimes they're indicative of what's going to happen next, and sometimes they're not. So we just have to look and study this. And I really fully haven't comprehended it all yet, because I spent so much time developing it, and I really haven't had a chance to trade them all that much. And I had traded the 1 minute before, but that's just awful, trading 1 minute. I mean, it's just really hard to do that. That was years ago, so I understood how they trade, but this is much different now that I have them on all the time periods all the way up to the 4 hours. So I hope it makes things a little clearer with this. It's a little under the weather, so it's a little hard to do it, but I want to get started with one of the videos.